Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. At this point, the intersection between activism and Islamic spirituality, and therefore our paradigm of spiritual activism, should stand out in sharp relief. As a summary, we can connect the dots as follows. The purpose of human creation is the realization of loving submission or ubudiyyah to the divine. The locus of this loving surrender is the spiritual heart or qalb, which is the seat of normative perception, experience, and will. The heart is profoundly influenced by the lower self or nafs, whose reality can be materialistic, hegemonic, satanic, or angelic. The nature of the lower self or nafs determines the orientation of the heart. The heart in turn commands the intellect or the aql to rationalize and execute its commands, and the intellect commands the limbs and senses to act. As the heart or qalb grows in spiritual awareness and nearness to the divine, we realize the purpose of our creation, which is to be the vicegerent of the divine by adorning our hearts with divine names and attributes to the most perfect extent possible at our human level. These qualities are our inner character or akhlaq. Our inner character is a necessary and essential consequence of our spiritual quest. The deeper our spirituality, the more constant and anchored our inner character. We now stand poised to offer a definition of what is spiritual activism. Spiritual activism is the experiential, practical realization of divine unicity or tawheed in the names and attributes of the divine, which is manifested within our inner character at our human level, externalized in our words and deeds, and then projected onto the social realm in an attempt to transform it accordingly. True activism cannot be divorced from its spiritual, divine origin or inspiration in both means and ends. The metaphorical, vertical relationship with the divine is what gives meaning and value to our horizontal relationships, individual and social, with creation. Indeed, only when activism operates within this spiritual envelope, at every instant and at every level, is it a means of worshipful surrender to the divine and a means of true freedom and liberation for oneself and others. It is worth noting that the normative, universal values of our tradition are not novel. If we reflect carefully, we will realize that every beautiful universal virtue is in reality an expression of a divine value, and that every such value is a remnant of the teachings of the emissaries and messengers of the divine. While the divine lineage of these ethical constants may have been forgotten, their source nonetheless is the divine. This then are the first principles of a paradigm of spiritual activism. The details of activism will flow from these principles naturally and consequentially. The first of these details that we will discuss is a selection of divine names and attributes that have particular relevance to social activism. Allah is the lovingly merciful, the source of peace and security, the infinitely just, the wise, the patient, the trustee. A social activist who wishes to produce change, true change, must fully internalize and actualize these values. In the spiritual realm, not to be adorned with these attributes or to be deficient in them is to be maligned in reality with their opposite. When we are not adorned with these attributes, our activism is a recipe for failure. For, in the final analysis, I act either with a heart connected in agency for the divine, or I act as the proxy of my lower self and its base biddings. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.